Welcome, ladies and gents. This is a very funny article. So this is all about Lord of the Rings of Power. Vernon Sanders, who is the head of global TV for Amazon Studios, is basically talking about a whole bunch of very interesting things. You know, like, this is a massive investment for Amazon. And obviously, part of it is like, well, how are they making their money back? Are they making their money back? Is this a loss leader? This is a question which I'm sure a lot of people have actually had, but he talks about some of this stuff, you know. Season 1, return on investment. Season 3, renewal. And then begins to talk faster pace and bigger battles in Season 2. Which is interesting because they were like, we love Season 1, it's perfect. And now they're like, oh, but we're going to change a lot of stuff. So please do keep watching, essentially, is the general vibe I'm getting here. But like I said, this is an interesting, I think, interview. And it's with Deadline. So this is obviously Deadline. Vernon Sanders, head of global TV for Amazon Studios, says the financial bet has more than paid off. Okay. He addresses the success of the show on Prime TV, where it broke records for most global viewers in its first day, 25 million, and overall more than 100 million for minutes streamed, 24 billion, and sign-ups worldwide. So apparently, it did create sign-ups, which is fascinating. There's no way to independently verify what they're saying, but it's interesting that this is what they are saying, nonetheless. Now, they say actually it attracted younger viewers, a record number of adults, 18 to 34, for Prime Video Original, and affluent audiences. How do you know that's the case? 40% coming from households with income greater than 100 grand. How do you know that? That's really bizarre, right? How do you know that? And beyond, boosting Amazon sales for J.R.R. Tolkien books on which the series was based. That can't have broken even anyway. It's so strange. It is so strange. So here we have it, right? Oh, and they also talk about, by the way, the recasting of Adar, which I think is very, very interesting. So Deadline asks him, how would you evaluate the performance of the Rings of Power? It's been a tremendous success for us. It performed incredibly well around the globe, and it is by far our biggest scripted series. It is the most acquisitive show that we've put out, and after we finished releasing episodes, we saw a new surge of people come to the service to start the show. We've already released the fact that we're over 100 million, and the number has gone up since then. It's millions and millions beyond that. We are really proud that the show drove renewed interest in the books. We saw spikes in book sales, and it's just been a company-wide success, and as significant as our investment has been, it has more than paid off for us. Really? I genuinely am shocked. Genuinely shocked. Now they say, or he's asked anyway, Rings of Power received an early Season 2 renewal in late 2019. Now that Season 1 is out, are you still committed to Patrick and JD's vision of telling the story over 5 seasons? And if so, when can we expect a Season 3 renewal? We are absolutely committed. We have every reason to be excited. They've done a tremendous job. It's a great question about Season 3. We're probably 2 to 3 months in on Season 3, but I think there could be news certainly in the new year. There's so much planning and prep that's necessary for us to get this mounted that the only reason we probably haven't gotten there quite yet is we've just been so heads down in Season 2, but I would expect there to be news in the new year. If there isn't news in the new year, I would take that as a pretty bad sign. How is the production on Season 2 going? It's going great. Doesn't this just remind you of, like, I don't know, someone asking you, how are you? And you go, I'm just amazing. But actually, you're dying inside. It reminds me, that's what it says to me. Now, he says, it's going great. Season 1 had so much establishing to do that we now get to have the fun of seeing the story ramp up as Sauron is revealed. And I think audiences can look forward to a show that, while it feels true to itself, what the fuck does that mean? It, honestly, feels like the stakes are even higher, and now that the rings are in play, seeing what they can do, and seeing how the various factions within the world deal with those implications. I think it's going to be really compelling. You'd hope so. Now, this was interesting. They actually moved production from New Zealand to the UK. And Deadline just asked them, how is moving production from New Zealand to the UK going to impact Season 2? We're going to new lands, and there are new expansive things happening in Season 2. And part of the benefit of being in the UK is that we're going to be able to shoot in places that look very different than what we saw in Season 1. We're able to shoot all across Europe, and we will see some of that production value on screen. I should hope so. What did you learn from the experience of developing and producing Season 1 that you're applying to Season 2? Bet you can't wait for this response. We've never done anything like this, so the whole production model, how to produce a show like this, the scale work and all that were things that we needed to learn for the first time in the process of making the show. We're going to be faster. We're going to be able to put more money on screen. Well, yeah, because there were elements of it that looked incredibly cheap. Just in terms of the scale and scope of what we're doing now, that we know how to do it. And I also think that the pace of our story is going to increase in part because the story is demanding that now that everyone's been established, the stakes are established, that we're going to watch some characters and some lands go to war. It does scream a bit, please keep watching. We've established so much. That stuff you thought was boring, it's not going to be boring anymore. Please watch. Does to me anyway. Speaking of war, will we see bigger battles in Season 2? Yes, I can say you will see bigger battles in Season 2, including some iconic moments from the appendices and the books. What books? What? Are you going to what? Are you recreating stuff? What are you doing? Talk about the decision to recast the main character, Adar, heading into Season 2. This actor here, right, Joseph, gave a very, very, very professional, classy response. This response, not so classy. I don't really get it. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. And with a show that had this many series regulars and this many recurring characters, it unfortunately happened. What didn't work out? What are you on about? Joseph was tremendous and gave an incredible performance. We're also excited about our new actor. The character of Adar in Season 2 has some really exciting dynamic things to play. To play? So I'm telling them to stay tuned. What? The character of Adar in Season 2 has some really exciting dynamic things to play, so I'm telling them to stay tuned. Okay. From the Season 2 cast edition announcement so far, it appears that you are continuing to bring diversity to Middle-earth. Can you speak about that and tease more familiar characters from the lore that we can expect? The series continues to be cast from all around the world. We think that represents the show that we created in Season 1. Yeah, of course it does. Doesn't represent Lord of the Rings though. And we're doing the same thing for Season 2. We're trying to find the best actor for the role. No, you're not. By literal definition, you're not. We've already announced that there'll be some characters from the lore. I don't think we've announced all of them. So there are some surprises to come. I think the fans will be really delighted. Look, I'm not going to lie, this sounds like absolute poo. How have they made money off this? It's more than paid off? What, because you sold a bunch of books? And how do you know? How do you know that they came from households with greater incomes of 100 grand? How do you know that? Like, how can we confirm any of this stuff? It's so strange. Very, very bizarre. Don't you think? Or not? It's just me. I think this is pretty odd. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, confusing. Genuinely confusing. Anyway, guys, love to hear your thoughts. Season 2, can't wait to hear more. This is going to be so good. No, it's not.